Right, recording has started, so I'll hand over to you, Councillor Ayub. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the meeting of the Executive Cabinet Member for Culture Portfolio. Today is Monday, 30th September 2024, and the time is 5:30. My name is Councillor Nadeem Ayub, the Executive Cabinet Member for Culture. On this meeting, we have council officers and council officers and council members as well. Looking at the agenda item, I don't think there's any apologies that we received, have we, Susan?
Well, Councillor Flitcroft's here for Councillor Tracy Wilkinson. She's on a flooding duty or something, she said. So, and Councillor Williamson's not here, but she wasn't at my earlier meeting either. So I'm guessing she's otherwise engaged today. So Councillor Williamson, but I've not heard anything from her, so I'll just record her apologies anyway.
Sure. Okay.
I think everybody else is here. Yeah. Thank you.
No problem. All right. Okay. Item 1 on the agenda is the monitoring of the Executive Cabinet Member decisions. You're going to take us through them? Anything to come off, Susan?
Well, that's the monitoring report is just for noting really and keeping members up to date on previous decisions that you've made. So if anyone's got any comments on them or wants to ask any questions, feel free to do so. Sure.
We've got Councillor Flitcroft.
Thank you. This is new to me because I'm not normally on this one.
Yeah.
So please forgive me if it's already been said previously. I'm just noting the Rock Hall emergency repairs due to start. It says October to December 2024. So is that planned to go ahead like imminently? And also it says about a meanwhile space, creating a meanwhile space. What's one of them, if you don't mind? Thank you.
Okay, I'll bring Sam in for this one. I think Sam
it's a good job I'm here, isn't it? I can answer that one. So the works are imminent. The contractor has been brought on board. So it's a contractor called Rossley. I think actually foot through the door would probably be next week. We're in pre-contract stage this week. And in terms of creating meanwhile use, so we're currently in the development phase of the Rock Hall project, and this is about developing the ideas for the future of the project, where the main works will happen, the actual refurbishment, but very conscious that it is a community building and the community want it back in use as soon as possible. And so we've been able to devise a project in this development phase, and will take us through to the gap between getting the second stage 2 to create, I think it will end up being 2 rooms on the ground floor that the public can use, and 1 toilet and a bit of a kitchenette. And what that means is that you could have like community workshops in there, more consultation events. You know that Banana Enterprise have done a fantastic job delivering events over the summer, but as you get into autumn and winter, there's less that you can do outside. So it's about keeping momentum of the project. So I think a press release will go out later this week.
Lovely. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam. Right, in that case, Susan, I note that report.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Put Big Light On 2024. Back to you, Sam.
Yeah, great. So for those of you that don't know me, my name's Sam Elliott. I'm the head of service for libraries and museums, and I look after culture in the council too. So I'll just share my screen so you can see the report. When I've shared my screen, I can only see one of you at a time. So if anybody puts a hand up or asks any questions, feel free to shout out and ask anything. So this report is to inform a decision to waive standing order 4 relating to contracts to procure the headline light artist for Put Big Light On 2024. So Put Big Light On is, as well, we've had it once and it's back this year. So it's a winter light art festival. It took place in the town centre last year, and it'll be in the town centre again this year. It's funded externally through the UK Shared Prosperity Fund. So the funds all come from external funding. And last year was a huge success, and we're planning for this year to be an even bigger success. Last year we had Borealis as our headline light artwork, and that's a travelling light show. So now travelling around the world. But this year we want to bring a new headline artist. So we're working with artist Novak, who have done many projections on various buildings across the country and internationally. They've just worked on the Paddington Bear experience in London. They've worked on Doctor Who. They're very highly regarded for the work that they do. And what's really unique about them, and the reason why we're asking to waive the standing orders, is there's two reasons. One is the urgency of which we need to procure them. So the festival happens in December. It will happen between the 5th and the 8th of December this year. But they're a really unique creative studio, and they specialise in lots of creative work, such as digital work, digital media, design, production, interpreting museum and archive collections, and making really immersive, high quality experiences for the public. There aren't these companies who do all of those things under the same roof. There's lots of smaller companies that do separate things. I've seen some ideas that they've put forward. I think it will be a really grand display. That's something that we've not seen in Bolton before. So because of that uniqueness of what they offer in terms of their business, and also the urgency and the need to procure in order for the event to happen when we need it to, we're asking this meeting to waive those standing orders. As I mentioned, it's all funded externally. The whole value of the work by Novak will be £90,000. And because it exceeds £50,000, we have to come to this meeting and ask ECM for approval. I think that's it. So I'll stop sharing just in case anyone's got any questions, and then I can see if anybody has hands up.
Thank you, Sam. Yeah, so we've got David Wilkinson, Councillor Wilkinson, sorry. You're on mute.
Yeah, I just realised. You could have probably heard me in Bolton. Just two questions, if I may. I'm like Maureen, I don't normally do this. Gary normally does it for us, so it might be, bizarre questions. The story of Bolton. Some officers may know that I have a certain viewpoint about the story of Bolton, because there are several other towns in Bolton which many officers seem to forget all about. So I shall remind you. So I'll be interested to know what the story of Bolton is. I know it's external funding, but 20 grand a day for 4 days, well, actually over 20 grand a day, I'm just hoping it is something spectacular, because we're now living in times of tightness, to say the least. And obviously we had the Bolton News article the other day where we're looking at another £7.5 million worth of cuts. And like I said, I do accept that it is external funding, but there's probably a long list of other things which could be externally funded. So what are we getting? I'd be interested to see that early, but I'd be interested in the story of Bolton, because I always remember when rambling here, that Bolton Libraries did a thing in the library some time ago, story of this, the borough, and they mentioned bits of the outer areas, otherwise known as the townships, and you got it wrong. And I kept telling people, and nobody took a blind bit of notice, so I give over bothering. So I'd just like to know what the story of Bolton is this time, and if it does mention the outer areas, you don't get it wrong this time.
Thank you, Councillor Wilkinson. Sam?
Yeah.
Come back on.
So I've given it that title. That's not come from the artist, because it's not been produced yet, if you see what I mean. But we had to put something down for the report. So what you're going to be getting is it's a projection like what you've not seen before. So we've had projections before. We've had one in West Orton, actually. I think we've had one in Falmouth, actually, the Night Owls. This is on a different level. So it's much more immersive, and it almost feels like 3D. And when we say the story of Bolton, we won't actually name anywhere in Bolton. It's all generic. So, for example, if you think about the town hall, which it's going to be projected on, the columns on the town hall are going to turn into chimneys, and smoke will billow out of them. So we'll talk about industry and industrialisation, but we won't mention any particular mill, if you see what I mean. We won't be mentioning anything specific. There is the story starts off about the borough of Bolton being a green place. Then it kind of transitions to industrialisation, and then there's something a bit more modern at the end. But again, generic, and it doesn't really go into that level of detail. It's much more visual rather than a narrative. In terms of the production, though, because you asked about the cost, so there's the time beforehand where all the research has to happen, animators, digital staff, and so on. And then on the actual 4 nights, it's going to take 10 projectors. So they have to build like truss and scaffolding and so on, because it really will project across the whole of the building. If you have a look at Novak's website, there's a section of their work. Have a look at the quality of the work.
Okay, thank you.
Can I just say thank you for that, because without the background information that Sam's now just provided, like I said, 20 grand a night sounds a lot of money, but knowing, have some understanding of the technical costs and the physical costs, shall I say, about the screen, it's more clearer. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Fairclough.
Yeah, thanks for that. It's not actually that dissimilar a question, really. I mean, I'd start by saying that I am a huge fan of this. I don't want you to think that I'm in any way dismissive of it. I think last year was absolutely fantastic. Being there was actually quite unreal. You know, it was something I although I'd seen the projections, you just couldn't imagine what it was going to be like until you were there. And everybody was impressed. And I know I brought my son and his children, who were also impressed, and that's almost impossible to do. So we managed that. That was really good. And I absolutely do support it. However, there's always a however. It did just strike me that obviously this money, the Shared Prosperity Fund, 90,000, I just wondered if it wasn't possible to do something for the other outer areas, you know, West Horton, Farnworth, and I don't want to leave anybody out, Blackrod, Horwich. Obviously Astley Bridge would be ideal, but I don't think we're recognised yet. It just seems very much insular, really, unfortunately. I do understand that it's difficult and it's expensive, and I would, having said all that, would rather have something absolutely spectacular in the centre than have it diluted too much. But I just wondered if there was any room anywhere to just sort of try and share the prosperity, really.
Yeah, so I mean, it does cost what it costs to put it on at that scale in the town centre, and the infrastructure is there in the town centre. I mean, I know there are area funds as well, and if any members wanted to work with me and my team around putting on cultural activities in other areas, we'd be happy to programme some of those. We've done light workshops in West Horton before, Farnworth, Horwich, and so on, and there's a lot we can do. And another thing is that if you have got money in area funds, we can use that as match funding to bring in more money, and there's capacity within my team to help support that. So if anyone does want to do that, feel free to get in touch, because I'm sure we can get some really good value and high quality cultural work across the whole of the borough.
Thank you, Sam, for that. I can't see anybody else indicating, so just final check. No, I can't see any. Right. Okay. In that case, the executive member is recommended to approve a waiver to the standing orders related to contracts to procure the headline artists for Put Big Light On 2024 to make a direct award of the contract to them. Susan, I note that report and approve that report.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's noted. Okay. Thank you.
I can't see anything else on the agenda.
No, that's the end of the agenda. Yeah, that's the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much for everybody joining.
Thank you.
Thanks. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.